Hello again, friends, and welcome to our YouTube channel called If This Car Could Talk. Today we're going to be looking at the 1967 Mercury Cougar in great detail. In our opinion, this car was one of the finest models to debut during the classic muscle car era, and by 1971 had many different versions of high-performance cars that are highly coveted today, like the GT package for 1967 and 8, the 68 GTEs and XR7Gs, the 69 and 70 Eliminators. 1971 saw the performance Cougars with the 429 Cobra Jet, and late in the year, a 351 Cleveland Cobra Jet. This engine carried the performance torch through the 1974 model year. It was clear to the Lincoln Mercury division that since they were now heavily involved in the performance segment of the market by the mid-60s with various Mercury models, they'd also need a so-called pony car in the ever-growing market for cars of this size and style. A new name was carefully considered for this new model, once it was known that this new pony car was a go. Consumer groups had two choices for a name, either Apollo or Cougar. Cougar was the choice for most people who were asked to select a name. It was said the name conjured up images of grace, speed, and beauty. For the mid-year edition of the XR7, this model designation also has an interesting history. It started as T7, which was an internal coded Ford during the car's development. The XR was derived from the marketing phrase extra refinement, carefully chosen to evoke a high-end, performance-oriented image, inspired by a trend in European luxury and performance cars of the era. The 7 of T7 was then used, combined to create XR7. Management at Lincoln Mercury felt this model name fit the upgraded Cougar perfectly. The overall goal of the XR7 designation was to position the Cougar as a more luxurious and refined pony car alternative to the Ford Mustang, featuring upscale interior appointments like leather seating surfaces, simulated wood grain trim surrounding the black-faced competition-style instrumentation console. Specific ornamentation was designed to let everyone know that this is one special cat. For 1967 only, Mercury was advertised as the man's car. This slogan was part of a specific marketing campaign by Lincoln Mercury to promote the brand's performance-oriented models, specifically the new Cougar and the Cyclone GT. The goal was to emphasize performance and power as exclusively masculine attributes. The earliest advertising and print ads depicted a real Cougar shown with the cars, but it wasn't until 1973 that a live Cougar would be seen in their various television ads. That cat's name was Chauncey. During the 1967 model year, there were 3 Cougar models available, all hardtop coupes. The first convertible Cougar would come along in 1969. All these Cougars were assembled on a unibody chassis with a wheelbase of 111 inches versus the Mustang at 108, although many mechanical and structural pieces would be shared between the two cars. The car weighed in at 2,988 pounds. Liquid capacities were the same as their Mustang cousins, with a 17-gallon fuel tank, 6 quarts of oil in the crankcase, a 15-quart cooling system with a small block engine, and a 20.5-quart cooling system for the big blocks. The standard Cougar was a body 65A, and then the mid-year edition XR7 had a body code of 65B, and a standard Cougar with a bench seat, body 65C. The 65C is a very rare car, with only 7,395 buyers ditching the bucket seats out of 150,893 cars sold by model year's end. That's a tad less than 5%. All 67 Cougars were assembled in Dearborn, Michigan, VIN code F. Because foreign-made sports cars were becoming extremely popular in the United States at the time, Lincoln Mercury engineers and market planners created a car that had European flair but was distinctly American. The print ads had the slogan, "The personal luxury car with a sporty European flair." The dealer brochures said the new Cougar had untamed elegance. The car was to have unique features such as hidden headlamps, a first for a Lincoln Mercury car, ornate wheel covers or wheels shod with performance tires, sequential flashing taillights, courtesy of the 1965 Ford Thunderbird, and interiors featured a high-end finish and various toggle switches. Customers could add, at very minimal cost, desirable options such as power front disc brakes, a manual 4-speed transmission, a floor-mounted or roof-mounted console, leather seating surfaces, and so much more. Some of these features would become standard equipment in the new XR7 series. The 1967 Cougars all had V8 power. The standard engine for all Cougars that year was the C-Code 289 two-barrel engine making 200 horsepower, with an optional 289 four-barrel engine rated at 225 horsepower. Both utilized a single exhaust system. When equipped with a stamped steel wheel designed for a wheel cover, the wheels measured 14 by 5.5. Finally, the GT Performance Group package featured an S-Code Big Block 390 Holley-equipped four-barrel engine that put out an impressive 320 horsepower. This package was available on all Cougars and was a bargain at $325. It included the aforementioned 390 engine, complete with a chrome dress-up package, Firestone wide oval tires, 6-inch wide 14-inch style steel wheels, dual exhaust, Kelsey Hayes supplied power front disc brakes, the performance handling suspension, and special trim. The suspension package included higher rate front and rear springs, larger heavy-duty shocks, a quicker ratio steering box, and a larger diameter front sway bar. All these items came directly from the new for '67 Mustang Big Block parts bins. All three engines were standard with a manual 3-speed transmission, and depending on the engine, either a C4 or a C6 3-speed automatic was available. As mentioned before, the top option for performance-minded buyers was the 4-speed manual transmission. During my research, I found mention of the 289 Hypo engine being available for the '67 Cougars, although that cannot be fully verified. I can tell you that back in the late 70s, a high school friend's father had one he said he ordered new. At the time, I had no knowledge of VIN codes or anything else, so I couldn't officially document it, but that car definitely had solid lifters and a 4-speed transmission, and it was a very spirited car to drive. Looking back, that was a great power-to-weight ratio performance car. Does anyone own one or had one in the past? Or maybe you remember seeing one that you can tell us about in the comments. Like most cars of the period, Cougars had a huge option list to personalize each buyer's car. The one option that was not available was power windows. It said that because of the width of the regulators and the design of the inner door structures, they wouldn't work together. The mechanisms and inner door structures required a total redesign and were finally engineered to fit the '69 Cougars. This option would first become available on the Mustang in 1971. In 1967, the Cougar models were available in 16 different baked enamel exterior colors, along with 6 variations of complementary interior colors of different materials and designs. A vinyl top was a popular option, with Mercury offering one in black or white to accent or match interior colors. Because the Cougar was a brand new model for '67, it immediately got the attention of all the car-related magazines of the day. During this time, there were quite a few titles, and even publications like Popular Mechanics had car-related content. I was able to read 3 different original articles I found online, and it seems the general consensus was that the Cougar was a model that testers and writers really liked. Much flattery was showered on the car in every article. Motor Trend, the king of the new car magazine content at the time, chose the '67 Cougar as the car of the year. Very impressive when you consider how many now legendary cars debuted in 1967 or were restyled or re-engineered that year, especially the Chevrolet Camaro and the Pontiac Firebird. Almost overnight, this iconic award was depicted on each new car's left-hand quarter window glass in an attractive black and gold decal. It's available today as a reproduction, but it adheres to the glass from the outside, while the original were applied on the inside of the glass. There were many similarities to the '68 cars, but hardcore enthusiasts know the many differences as well. Over the years, the '67 Cougars have become highly collectible, but are still outshadowed by the incredible performance cats that came along in the ensuing years. By 1977, Ford had opted to downsize the Cougar, along with its sister car, the Ford Thunderbird, for 3 more years. This generation would be one of the best-selling series in the history of this legendary nameplate. The first non-V8 Cougar came along as an option in 1982, when the tried-and-true 2.3-liter inline-4 and the 3.3-liter inline-6 appeared in the sales catalogs alongside the V8. With different V8s and some various 4- and 6-cylinder engines, the Cougar and its sister car at the time, the Ford Thunderbird, soldiered on until the end of the 1997 model year. After a brief hiatus, both cars returned briefly, the Cougar until 2002 and the Bird until 2005. So tell us in the comments what your favorite Cougar is and why. Any special Cougar memories? We'd like to hear them.